Welcome in and happy Monday to you, the NBA tip-off show powered by WagerTalk.com. We no more in-season tournaments, I don't think, but you never know with the NBA. But I do think we have a full card here tonight, which includes all the teams, and we've got a few isolated for you. We're going to break down here on this big Monday now, December the 11th, and it's fun because you get to do it with the Monday crew here as Skee Profit back in the saddle again, as is the prop god Andy Lang and RC Ronald Kabang ready to roll here on this Monday. Gentlemen, not a lot to go on over the weekend except for the Lakers doing their thing there. I'm shocked we're not seeing any purple in Skee's room there, but that's okay. We know he's celebrating all weekend long here as LeBron and company get it done, but now back to everybody else in the regular season, as well as the contrarian gods who have their eye on one particular game here tonight. And that game is going to involve, well, the champs, the Denver Nuggets on the road in Atlanta. And they're looking at the Hawks plus 2.5 here as the Nuggets have had a little bit of problems, shall we say, 5-8? Now straight up 3-10 against the number on the road. They have not been great on the road, yet here they are as a favorite getting a majority of the tickets. So, Skee, what are you thinking about this one? The Nuggets, they're a lot of things, but they're not exactly a deep team, which is evident by the fact that they're not great on the road here. So what gives in this battle here tonight? You willing to take the home dog with Atlanta in this one?
Well, the Nuggets haven't been good on the road for, I think, a few years now, but at least they're starting to get a little bit more healthy. I know they've had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup, and they've been doing a lot of traveling lately. I know this is the front end of a back-to-back, so that could be a reason why the line is a little bit low here, as well as, Denver just hasn't really been covering in general. So it makes me nervous because now you're almost just, I mean, 2.5 is asking them to win, but you said it in the beginning. They're only 5-8 on the road, so it is a spot I guess that Denver could look ahead, and Atlanta should be able to be competitive. But they haven't been playing really good basketball ever since Jalen Johnson went down. Haven't been covering any games. Haven't been good versus competition this year. 1-6 versus greater than 55% win teams. So uh, I really don't want to take the Hawks. I can understand how the contrarian played today and how they could win, but I would prefer still to have my money on Denver in a pretty much close to pick'em game.
Yeah, it's interesting. You wouldn't expect to see Denver here at this smallest spot against. Well, let's face it. We know usually it's Atlanta at home we want to back, and on the road we want to fade. But quite honestly, Atlanta, like he said there, Andy, just not a great team right now. They certainly have enough firepower to pull it off here. So give me somebody you might be looking at this and whether or not you think it's worth siding with the contrarian gods in this one.
Yeah, I go with the contrarian gods here. Mentioned the road woes. The Nuggets are 5-8 on the road, but they won their first two road games. I mean, the reality is they're 3-8 in their last 11, so they've kind of gotten worse as the season has gone on. They're also not playing good defense. Last 7 games, they're only 18th in defensive rating, 17th in rebounding this season. That was supposed to be a big, strong suit for them. I mean, talk about terrible ATS. Hawks are 0-5 in their last 5 ATS. Denver's 1-3-1. I mean, these are teams that are just not good to back on. So, yeah, why not take a little stab on Atlanta? And to continue the under theme, or to continue the road thing, I'll take Jokic under 30.5 points. He's gone under in 9 out of 12 road games this season. It's a grueling long season, and these guys can't bring it every single night. And on the road seems to be a real issue for them. And you're getting these huge inflated numbers, and deservedly so, because it is Jokic. But I mean, man, 9 out of 12 road games that he's coming in under this total. And the Hawks are middle of the road against centers. They're not great. They're not terrible, but Capella's a big body and can make life, pretty miserable. And Jokic just had some really terrible shooting nights. There was one game he was like 9 of 32. So this isn't a guy that is, listen, it's championship or bust for this team. I don't think they're really all that interested in blowing out teams and covering spreads. I think they're just getting through the regular season. So I think the Nuggets are kind of a little bit of a fade. I'll take Jokic under, and yeah, I'll take the Hawks plus the points.
All right, there you go. We've got it's an interesting game here, RC, and I guess if you believe that this was just a blip for Denver, okay, the number is certainly small enough, but still think the number should have been bigger. What does that tell you here?
Yeah, I mean, the line is kind of tricky here, but I know, one thing that we talked about in the last time I was on the show was, Denver has had to travel for 15 straight games now, 15 or 16 or so. But if you
Yeah.
look at the Hawks side, they've also had to travel for I think this is their eighth straight game. So both teams really struggling potentially with the like travel fatigue. I mean, last time I was on the show, I did go against the Contrarian gods. I took the Celtics. We ended up winning, and to me, this still seems like another spot where I think I'm going to go against them. I think maybe I go 2 in a row against the Contrarian guys. We'll see. But if you look at the Hawks, you guys talked about the Nuggets and their struggles on the road. If you look at the Hawks at home, they're just 3-6 straight up, 1-8 against the spread in Atlanta. And like Skee said too, they haven't looked right since Jalen Johnson got hurt. 0-6 ATS since then. That's 6 straight games they haven't covered. And I don't even think it was close in these games either. And the Nuggets side, they have lost 3 in a row, but they're finally getting a little healthier. I know Murray is on the injury report, but it sounds like he's going to play today. One thing that I did, have a pause was the Nuggets on the road versus specifically non-conference teams. 0-3 ATS so far this season, but Murray missed all 3 of those games. I think tonight we see, Murray make a difference in that situation. I think Denver gets it done with a more efficient offense tonight. I lean towards the under in this game, to be honest, just because of the travel fatigue for both teams. But I do think Denver will be the more efficient offense.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one too. It feels like they're giving you a number, begging you to bet Denver, but we'll see if that's going to be the right side here. It going to be a very interesting first game back here for both of these teams since the in-season tournament championship. Also, a very interesting game tonight, speaking of the in-season tournament, will be the Chicago Bulls heading to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks. Now, didn't we just see this? It feels like, oh yeah, we did. On November 30th, we saw this here, and I believe the Bulls were pretty damn competitive in that one as well. The Bucks didn't go all that well against the Pacers, and it didn't take long for them to start pointing fingers at everyone in the locker room, including their coach. So the question is it going to get any better here now, Skee? Now that they got I think you said it too on Friday. All of a sudden, the Bulls, no Levine, but man, they seem to be playing much better offensively here. So what do you think of this matchup tonight against Milwaukee?
Yeah, well, the market got so low on the Bulls because nobody was out there playing with effort. And like we talked about, you get some other guys an opportunity, and they're bringing that effort. So since then, Bulls are 4-1 against the spread their last 5 games. They do play tomorrow versus Denver though, so front end of a back-to-back for them. For the Milwaukee side, it's tough because I feel like they're a team that's really embarrassed right now. We hear about what Bobby Portis. I don't know exactly what was said or anything, but calling out the coach or whatever happened there,
Yeah.
and it can go one or two ways. It can get the team to get back on track or start to fall apart. I feel like before the in-season tournament thing though, they started to play a little bit better. Looking at it, they've covered 8 of their last 12 games. So if they bring effort and energy, they are the clearly better team. They should be able to dominate Chicago tonight. I just think I would prefer to play the total. Billy Donovan for the Bulls, I've heard Ravino talk about this. He said that he wants his team to start playing with some more pace. For the flip side, we know that the Bucks play up tempo. They're 5th in pace the last 5 games and top 5 offensive rated team as well. So I think it'll be a track meet. It's gone over 6 of the last 7 for the Bulls and 4 of the last 5 for Milwaukee. I think the over is the best bet here. And we'll see what Andy thinks about this. If I'm going with a player prop, it'll be Bobby Portis. His numbers are low. And maybe, after blowing up on the coach, we'll see if the coach still plays him enough minutes. But every game, every game since he's been on the Bucks against those Bulls, his old team, he's had, I think it's what, 8+ rebounds they're asking for him tonight. He's
Mhm.
had 9+ pretty much every game, even the last game when he was struggling to score. So I think his rebounds are a good look. I even think his points at 9.5 can be another good one. So curious to see what Andy thinks about that.
Well, it's interesting, too, because his comment, which, by the way, he wasn't the first one who has said this before. Giannis has hinted at this, too, saying they're not prepared at the end of games. Apparently, nobody, they're inbounding the ball. Nobody knows who's supposed to be cutting, who's not. Like, Lillard's just like, what do you want me to do? Who's getting the ball? So, where there's smoke, there's got to be fire here, Andy. But doesn't mean that there's not advantages to take in this game here with these two teams who probably aren't going to play a lot of defense. It's got to be good for a prop betting game, no?
Yeah, actually, my best bet is going to be on a prop in this one. I actually like Portis props. I think it's a great way to, as a coach, to smooth things over. Like if a player calls you out and then you just like bench him, I don't think that goes over well in the locker room. And yeah, maybe there is a like look in the mirror and say, hey, do I really have this team prepared at the end of games? Say the same thing about the Buffalo Bills. Can't figure out that they should run the ball. There's 12 seconds left before the 2-minute warning. But yeah, there's a lot of it going on. I think this could be a positive for this team. They have championship aspirations. And as a coach, you don't want to blow up at the team in December. So I think I like Portis to go over his rebounds. He had 9 against Chicago last time they played. A guy that played really well in their last matchup was Vucevic. I like his rebounds and assists tonight. It's 14.5. That's a pretty big number, but he's gone over the last 2 games. And he had 10 rebounds and 6 assists against Milwaukee in the last game. I think he's a tough matchup for them. I think he can pull Lopez out, and they run a lot of offense to him. And without Levine, there's a lot of stats, especially assists, that need to be generated. So he's had 2 great games in a row. He played great against them just a few games ago. So I would look for Vucevic to have another good game, take his rebounds and assists over.
Yeah, a lot of different spots in this game. It's going to be a popular prop game there, RC, I have a feeling. But how about you? When you look at these two teams, again, it was 11 days ago? I think it went to overtime. We did, it was actually a really good game, though. Kind of the first game where we started to see this new look Chicago Bulls team. What do you think? Are you a believer in them? Is it the side? Is it the total? How are you approaching this one?
Yeah, just real quick on the Portis thing. One thing that I was tracking last year was when the Bucks are double-digit favorites and they tend to win those games, even if they don't cover or not. Portis actually gets a ton of minutes in those games because if it's a blowout, the second unit goes in and he kind of dominates that fourth quarter for the most part. So that was something that I was tracking with Portis last year. Probably the same thing again this year. From a total perspective, I would lean towards the over in this one. The Bucks top 5 in pace, both teams in the bottom 10 in defensive rating as well. So those signs kind of point towards the over in this one. The only thing for me is, as much as I don't trust the Bucks defense, I really don't trust the Bulls offense. Even this new look offense. I feel like the Bulls have been catching teams in bad spots. I know they obviously the game with them last week or so. No Levine, no DeRozan. I think the Bucks kind of just overlooked that game. We see it all the time when key players, especially multiple key players, sit out for a team. The other team just doesn't show up. I think that was one of those situations, and they caught Pelicans team on the second leg of back-to-back games. They got the Hornets with no LaMelo. Obviously, their offense struggles without LaMelo, and then the Spurs have been just struggling all season long. So I feel like they've had a good run these last 4 games. I just don't trust it. I think the Bucks, obviously with revenge on their mind, they're also coming off from the tournament and how they wanted to be a little bit more successful than they were. I think this is gonna be a statement game here. I think the Bucks get it done. Definitely on the offensive side of the ball. If anything, team total over on the Bucks side or them to just cover the game. I just from the Bulls side, I just don't trust their offense too much.
All right, not trusting it there, trusting the Bucks offensively to get it done in that one. It'll be interesting to see here what Milwaukee comes out and does. And we've got Actually, another game here we're going to talk about in just a second, but I do want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you're new here to Wager Talk TV, as nobody's got more content than we do when it comes to the sports of the day, the week, and the month. In fact, this is a huge end of the year opportunity to partner up with all three of these guys here. We'll tell you about that coming up. But in the meantime, those of you joining us live here on this Monday, smash that like button. You guys know the routine here as we get ready to talk a total here tonight. And why don't we just go to the biggest damn total on the board? Shocker! The Pacers. Only they're taking on the Pistons. 247.5. So there are so many different ways to look at this game here, Skee. We can start with the simple fact that the Pacers made it to the finals. Didn't work out all that well in Vegas for them. It's been a emotional roller coaster, I would think, for that team over the last week here. Now they got to go and take on the lowly Detroit Pistons, who would do anything to win a game. So, how much effort are we going to get? And does it matter whether or not these Pacers show up? This thing's flying over the total for you.
Well, it's interesting because, I have I guess you can call it a system or a trend in hockey. And it's when teams go play in Vegas and then return back home. And it's usually more towards the over because they don't want to play a lot of defense. They go party out in Vegas and they come home. They don't want to give that effort that you're talking about. So I could see that from the Pacers. And they're not a team that plays a whole lot of defense anyway when they are trying. So I don't think I could get there with an under in this one. They're 7-1-1 to the over on the road this season. We know they play with pace. Top 5 offense. I think they're number 2 or number 1 right now. And it's gone over 5 of the last 6 meetings between both of these teams. You get Bogdanovich back in the lineup for the Pistons. I think that's an offensive boost for them. Only way to play this one for me is up and over. It's not a single elimination game. Don't think we'll see too many more Pacers unders in the near future.
It's tough. It's interesting here because the Pistons, it's now an 0-19 slide, I think, 5-13-1 against the number. I'm still trying to figure out what correlates here. Is the over a Pacers win? Is an under a Detroit win? I still haven't been able to put my finger on this here, Andy. But if you think it's an over, damn, there's got to be some props in this game somewhere along the lines that we can jump on both teams, no?
Yeah, can I just express my frustration with Skee, Braun, and Anthony Davis and the Lakers? Like, really? We can't have this. The Lakers have how many championships and the NBA's leading scorer? I mean, come on, look at the teams we had to beat Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, and then we happened to catch the Lakers when everyone's healthy. How's that happen? So, no, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that run completely. I actually think it's a little bit of a letdown spot for the Pacers. I'm going to stun everybody with this. I'm taking Tyrese Halliburton under 45.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I think it's a little bit of a letdown spot. He showed a lot. Everyone knows he's really good, but he really did take the next step. And now I think people are looking at him like a superstar. There's a lot of pressure. Look, just a touch tentative in the Lakers game. And the fact is 45.5 is huge. He only averages 43 points, rebounds, and assists. I think the rebounding stat is interesting because 2 out of the last 3 games, he had 7 rebounds and 10 rebounds, but against the Lakers, he only had 1. And that's more like it. He's only averaging like 3 or 4 rebounds per game. So some of his PRA in the in-season tournament were because of rebounds, and he just doesn't normally do that. They played Detroit a few weeks ago. He had 38 points, rebounds, and assists, so well under. It was a blowout. He only played 32 minutes. And they're not sitting, I don't think hardly anybody, the Pacers are. I wonder if this is just a really big kind of everyone gets a lot of minutes. That was a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. Potentially, if this is a blowout, maybe it might be a nice time to not play him 40 minutes like they did. So I think he comes up just a little bit short. Inflated number because he looks so great on the national spotlight. The value is in the under, so I'll take Halliburton under PRA.
All right, good stuff there. That's it. When in doubt, fade him. Fade Halliburton here. How about you, Rondo? When you looked at this, man, do you think the over correlates to Indiana, the under to Detroit? How do you approach this game here? Is it just over or pass?
I mean, you see Pacers, you're automatically going to look towards the over. But I mean, I think some of the things that Andy said makes a lot of sense to me as far as like a letdown spot, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously the Pacers know what they need to do to get far in the playoffs, and that's to focus on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, this is a good this is a good game for them to kind of gain momentum on the defensive side of the ball. The Pistons have really been struggling. I think what is this, 19 straight
Yep.
losses now.
Yep.
And in this streak, opponents have gone over their team total in 15 of them, but not all those teams went through the in-season tournament. Went through multiple Eastern Conference games on the road, went to Las Vegas, and then going back to the East again. So there's that travel situation as well that's on the bad side for the Pacers. So for me, I would actually look towards the team total, and that would be towards the Pistons team total under. I think they've gone under their team total in 7 of their last 8, and what I see right now is 120. Their team total is 120. They've touched 120 one time all season long. And it was exactly 120, nothing over it. So for me, I would look towards the Pistons team total under in this situation. Kind of stay away from the Pacers because you don't know what you're gonna get from them. Are they gonna bounce back off of that loss, or are they gonna just kind of look ahead to the Bucks? So they got them next, and also that they just had a tough schedule. So yeah, I don't know what to expect from the Pacers side, but I do know the Pistons not. I don't think they're gonna hit 120.
Ooh, all right. Well, kind of like that fade too, as well. So, all right, good stuff there. We've got a couple of games in the books here, and with a loaded card tonight comes a whole lot of opportunities for the dogs to be barking here tonight. So let's see what we got here, Robert.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
All right, let's see who could be barking here tonight. Contrarian gods like the Hawks to bark, but we got the Hornets, the Wizards, shocker, the Grizz, the Spurs, the Nets are there. We talked, Raptors are in there, the Cavs, the Chicago Bulls, the T-Wolves, the Jazz, and of course, everyone's favorite dog, the Trailblazers, who, ironically enough, Skee, you cashed with last week, backing them as your dog. So a lot of opportunities here on the board for the dogs to bark tonight. Which one are you gravitating towards?
I will look towards. It's not the shortest on there, but it's close. I'll go with the Nets plus 4.5. And
Ooh.
for one, to start, it's Sacramento on the front end of a back-to-back. They do play the Clippers tomorrow, and this Nets team, since they've gotten a little bit healthy again, they've been playing really good basketball. All the categories that I care about, last 5 game stats, they're top 5: offensive rating, defensive rating, and rebound percentage. They've covered 7 of their last 8 games. They've won 6 of those last 7. I don't see why they can't win again here outright. So you're giving me 4.5 points. I'd have to take the Nets.
Love this. All right, Nets. Interesting. Probably a little more juiced up for, I would think, for the Clippers tomorrow, who also play here tonight, Andy. So there's got to be a dog here that maybe sticks out to you on the card. Which one is it?
Anytime you can bet on a team that is 6-15 and has lost its last 3 games, you got to do it. Give me those Trailblazers and all 13 of those points.
Yes.
They're kind of playing okay. They lost to 13 against Dallas, but then only 4 to Golden State. They took Utah to overtime. They beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they beat the Pacers, which was embarrassing. That was a terrible game to watch as a Pacers fan. Only lose by 6 to Milwaukee. They beat Utah 13 at Phoenix. So, I mean, you have to go back to November 19th to find the last time that they lost by more than this. And this is a Clippers team I still don't totally believe in. They did have a nice win at Utah. They beat Denver, but only by 9, only beat Golden State by 1, then lost to Golden State. So I don't know. I just don't think this Clippers team is blowing people out. And you're looking at this Clippers team, yeah, they got a back-to-back tomorrow. Do you think they care more about playing the Sacramento Kings or Portland? So I think this might be a little look ahead. Too many points. The back door should be wide open on this one. So I'll take Portland to cover 13 points.
All right, laying double digger. I laid her on Ritz. I mean, Golden State learned that. Skee was cashing tickets last week back in them. Nobody wanted them. That is one ugly ass dog, Andy, and we love it. All right, RC, you've got the pick of the litter here tonight. There's got to be one of these standing out to you here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't normally like to get the one with the shortest line, but I like the Cavs here. I think they're going to win this game outright. I know they're going to be without LeVert and Mobley, but they're finally putting things together, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They won 5 of their last 6, I believe, and they've kept their opponents under their team total in 5 of their last 6 as well. I think the biggest problem or the biggest matchup edge for the Cavs is the fact that the Magic have turnover issues. They turn the ball over at a high rate, and then the Cavs, their ability to convert those turnovers into points. I think they're top 10 in points off turnovers per game. And then the Magic also send opponents to the free throw line at a high rate. And Donovan Mitchell, I think he's like one of the top players at getting to the free throw line. So this could be a matchup situation. I know the Cavs won the last one by like 10 or so. I think the only reason why it wasn't by more was because the Magic actually got to the free throw line 37 times. So for me, I don't see that happening again. I know the Magic's defense also has been struggling the last couple of weeks as well. I think prior to the game against the Pistons, 5 straight opponents went over their team total against this Magic team, and towards the early part of the season, they were one of the better defensive teams. And something kind of flipped recently, and I think the Cavs kind of take advantage of that. I think the Cavs get the outright win tonight.
It's funny because I think they were down by 17 or 16 or 17 after the first quarter. And I know that because I had Orlando in the first half. And it's actually one of the only damn games they haven't covered in the first half was that game against Cleveland. So looking for Cleveland with the outright win here tonight, which leaves us plenty of opportunities for a best bet here tonight. And again, if you're new to us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Those of you joining us live here today, smash the like button. And of course, go ahead and make plans to join us each and every day of the week. There is a great opportunity and time is ticking here for you guys to be able to partner up with any one of these guys, whether it be Skee, RC, or Andy Lang. We'll tell you about that here as we throw 60 seconds on the clock for the best bet. We let these guys do whatever they want with the 60 minutes, 60 seconds, or 60 minutes. Forget it. Is Tony Finn here? No, 60 seconds. And that's what we're going to give them so they can do whatever the hell they want as long as they tell you what they got coming up here tonight and this week and give us a best bet. So, Skee, start us off here, man. 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you rolling for a best bet tonight?
I will go to Utah and OKC, and I'll have a look at the point spread. You look at this Utah team, they're still going to be without Walker Kessler, or they're going to be without Walker Kessler tonight, who's going to hurt them on the boards for sure, and paint protection. And they're still without Marketing, who's their leading scorer. So a couple of big misses for this Utah team. They have 15 losses so far on the season. 10 of those have been by 13 plus. And you look at how they've been playing lately. I already said they're missing their leading scorer. They're just really struggling to score. The worst offensive rated team in that time span, going up against the top 10 defense in that time span. So I like that. Jazz, bottom 10 shooting the 3 and defending it. And I always say that's how you win games by margin. OKC, they're doing it. They're number 2 3-point shooting team, and they're top 10 defending it. So I'm not surprised to see this big point spread for this game. I think OKC is more than capable. They covered 11-4-1 their last 16. They win this one easily. They're going to run Utah out the gym.
Woo! Sorry, Utah. That's what happens when you suck. All right, good stuff there, Skee. Let's go. Andy Lang, it is your turn, man. 60 seconds on the clock. Where are you going for a best bet here tonight?
I'm going to go back to the Chicago Bulls at the Milwaukee Bucks, and I am going to take this. I'm going to talk about this as a best bet for tonight, but you really just need to play it every night in this situation, and that's DeMar DeRozan on the road under his point total. His point total is 25.5. He's gone under in 9 out of 10 road games this season. You go back to last season, this has gone under 29 out of 33 road games. He does not go over his point total on the road, and then he goes over at home. So it's the opposite of Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson this year, for whatever reason, always goes over his point total on the road. But DeMar DeRozan under 25.5. And the last 5 road games he's played without Zach LaVine in the lineup, 5-0 to the under. He had 11 against Milwaukee earlier this season, just a few games ago. So DeMar DeRozan on the road, it's an automatic underplay for me.
All right, get it done. DeMar, that's what we're talking about here. All right, that leaves us RC, Ronald Kabang, ready to roll here tonight. A lot of interesting spots on this card here, Ronald. Which one are you going with as a best bet?
I'm going to the game that Skee just talked about, the Jazz game against the Thunder there. I like the Jazz to go under their team total, 111. The Jazz 9-2 to their team total under on the road so far this season, including the last 5 in a row. And then, Skee talked about the guys who are missing, Markin and Kessler, and potentially John Collins tonight as well. So they're going to be potentially without their top 3 rebounders tonight. And that is the key for this Jazz team, since, second chance points is actually one of their main points of emphasis. They actually lead the league in second chance points per game. If they're not going to have that, they're going to have some struggles on the offensive side of the ball. The Thunder on their side, they've been strong defensively all season long, especially when they're heavily favored. When favored by 7 or more, the Thunder have kept their team total, their opponents under their team total by at least 6 points in each one of those games. Last time they were double-digit favorites, they kept their opponent under their team total by 27 points. So for me, I like the Thunder to play some defense here and the Jazz to struggle offensively. So under their team total for the Jazz.
All right. Boom. Under the team total for the Utah Jazz. And there you have it, guys. A quick recap. There you heard it there. The Jazz go with that under 111 there. The Thunder for Skee here tonight. Expect them to roll. And DeMar DeRozan under the 25.5 points here tonight in their game against the Bucks. And don't forget, guys, right now, take advantage of the opportunity now through the end of the year. $199. This is running out quick. That's an all-access pass to partner up with any one of these guys here at WagerTalk.com. All access means every play, every sport now through the 31st. Yours for just $199. It's a great opportunity to finish up the year strong here. And there is plenty, and I mean plenty, going on across the sports betting landscape here from now through the end of the year. So take advantage. No coupon needed. Visit any one of these guys on their page over at WagerTalk.com. All right, that'll do it on a loaded here Monday. Much more NBA coming up this week, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Same situation, getting it ready for you, previewing. But in the meantime, go ahead and click on that video on your screen right now and get access to all the other sports and head-to-head matchups we've got coming up, not just tonight, but all week long here. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Much more to get to this week in the association. We'll talk to you then. Good luck.